everyone, welcome to today's workshop with Yifat. We're going to be talking about a lot of AI, personal branding, how to use AI to get the most out of your personal branding goals. Yifat, without further ado, I'm going to let you kick us off. I know you put together an amazing presentation, and we're going to have a lot to cover. So the way this is going to work is Greg and myself are going to be moderating. Yifat has a great presentation to go through, and then we'll start to open it up. And as we're going along, if anyone has questions or wants to point anything out, be sure to drop those in the comments, and that way Greg and I can keep an eye on those, and we'll do our best to answer along. But without further ado, Yifat, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, so I will share my screen and you guys let me know where you can see it.
Yep, that's looking good.
Awesome. So that's what we're doing today. We are talking about how to build your brand and authority with AI. My name is Yifat Cohen, and I'm super excited to be here again with Greg and Blaine from Cast Magic. We've been working together for a few months now, right? Like a little bit of a moment, and it has come a long way, and I'm super excited to share this with you. So let's get started. I want to introduce you to B. B has 61.4 followers on Instagram. Not too shabby, right? But B is getting millions of views for her videos. Millions, more than like people with like millions of followers, right? And what's better than that is B is making $300,000 a month from doing reels where she's not even talking on camera. How do I know this? Because I know her ghostwriter, Jessica McKay, and Jessica shared this on her Facebook. So she's making $300,000 a month, not even talking on camera. And I know this because I talked to Jessica and I shared with Jessica the exact same system that we are doing together here today. And this exact same system, I love what Jessica was like, you changed my life today, right? Gave me so much time that now she can take the entire week off. And she was so excited about it. She left me a Google review where she said, Ifat helped me free up 20 hours each week. I'm an in-demand copywriter. Thanks to what I learned, my income ceiling has been lifted and I now have more time to take more clients. So I'm sharing this not to brag, I'm sharing this to show you what we're going to do today. And if you put this system into place, you can do similar things like B, like Jessica. In fact, Jessica took this exact system and went and created an AI assistant called William and showed him exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. And now she has more clients where she doesn't have to manually sit down and write copy for them and get these results for. So if you're excited about the system that's already working for a lot of people, I want to see that in the comment of like, yeah, give me my time back. And $300,000 a month, right? Why not? So here's what we're going to cover. On today's agenda, we are going to cover, first of all, the why of brand and authority building, because this is about building your brand and authority with AI. We're going to talk about the 3 pillars of thought leadership. I'm going to give you the $1 million formula. We're going to move from pain points to paydays, crafting content that matters. I'm going to share with you my own proprietary impact juice framework for getting like amazing content out there. Then we're going to talk about dynamic content creation, where we're avoiding the poop in, poop out trap, and leveraging AI for refined communication. And if we have time, hopefully Q&A, and we're going to wrap it up with some resources for you. So I have a disclaimer. This is a lot. I know it's a lot. I'm going to try to cram it all in like the 60 minutes that we have, right? But usually I go through this in like 5 days where we tap down into each and every one of them, take our time and get it done in what I call lunch and do. So if you feel like this is way too fast, don't worry. A, you're going to have the recording. B, you're going to have access to me and Blaine in Cast Magic and in Slack. And see, if you want to dive deeper, I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's get started. Which one of these, guys, is AI and which one is the real one, A or B? B is the real one. B is real, okay? B is AI. I love it. A is real. A is real. Yes, A is real. B is AI. But it looks so good, right? So close. Like you can almost not tell the difference. What about this one? Which one is real? Which one is AI? A is AI. B is real. Yes, right? So it used to be super difficult and really hard to kind of create a clone of yourselves. But now we can do it for free in different languages, in different ways, right? It's really not hard to be whoever you want to be in whatever language you want to be at, with whatever clothes, with perfect tone and fiction, all that stuff, right? Super easy. But us as service providers, right? We need something a little bit different. So who here knows who this guy is? Dude, if you know, that's amazing. If you guys know who it is, no idea. So this is Travis Scott. He's a rapper. The only reason I know about him is because my son loves listening to him. Horrible singer. He sings like he falls asleep, right? But he did a deal with Nike and he created these shoes, these Jordan Travis Scott limited edition shoes. How much do these shoes cost? $1,400 for sneakers, right? If you were like my son, right? If you had a son like mine who loves Travis Scott and loves flaunting and all that stuff, and you wanted, yeah, way too much, Oleg. You wanted to actually buy these shoes for them. Where will you buy it from? Amazon or Etsy? Assuming they sold these shoes. Where are you going to buy the shoes from? Amazon. Etsy, really? Amazon, Etsy. Tell me why Etsy. Curious. Yes, Amazon return is easier. For $1,400, which one do you trust? Etsy because it's custom. Well, but you can't really customize it. It's like special edition Nike from Scott. So Nike is making it, right? It's not something that someone will do by itself. Etsy is individual sellers, right? Amazon, it's easy to get fakes. Interesting, fascinating. So what we're seeing here is that you guys have trust with one or two of these brands, right? So this brand, building a brand in the age of AI, will actually give you the trust to command this type of prices, right? So it will allow you to weather the storms of the economy. Whatever happens in the economy, you have trust in one of these brands, right? It will allow you to get referrals. None of you knew about Travis Scott. Hopefully you never will, right? But now it's word of mouth and you getting the word out there, which is less money on advertising, less money on marketing, more trust, commanding higher prices. And that is why I'm really focusing on brand and authority, because that will allow you to actually stay in business and not just like be, disappearing one day. So the good news is that you don't need millions of followers to make millions of dollars, right? Like we just saw in the case of B. You don't need that. You only need three things. The first thing, you have to be a real expert. Anybody saw this meme with Simpsons going out, I'm a Bitcoin expert, I'm an AI expert, I'm a thing expert, right? You can't do that if you want to build thought leadership. You can't regurgitate AI and be a thought leader. You actually have to have original thoughts. So the first thing, be a real expert with actual experience if you can talk about the things that you've done and what happened to you. The second one is you have to have actual results to talk about. If you don't have actual results to talk about, then go get results, right? Go do that. Go experiment, go play, go help people. And then you can come back and create thought leadership, authority, and branding behind it. And the third one that you need is you have to be generous in giving. I've worked with so many people who just would not share the entire system, like what they're talking about. And it will hurt you because we can now ask ChatGPT and Claude and all that stuff for any information that we want. So you're not hiding anything. You're not protecting anything. People already know that they can just go to YouTube and find everything that they need there, right? So if you're not generous in giving, you're actually hurting yourself. Your content is going to be very shallow and nobody's going to share it. And you're going to be like, why is it not working? I'm doing everything right. And it's not, nobody seems to care. So you have to have actual experience, actual results to talk about, and be generous in giving and not hoard it all for yourself. So if you have these three things, here's the $1 million formula. Before I share that with you, I want to share this idea that I know all of us here have so much information and we can help so many people with so many things. We're like a general practitioner that is waking up every morning and going like, why am I not making a specialist income, right? It's because you can do all these things and nobody thinks about you as that one specialist that is worth the high fees. So if you want to become that one person, here's what you need to focus on. One specific problem, one specific person in one specific way. So one specific problem. Yes, you can help them with email. Yes, you can help them with video. Yes, you can help them with all that stuff. Are they willing to pay for all these things? No. Someone else does it cheaper? Yes. You're not focusing on that. One specific problem. You want to be the painkiller, the Advil for the migraines and not the vitamins, right? And so let me drive this home. Imagine you're selling bacon coming from a Jew. You're selling bacon. It's the best bacon ever. It's crispy and it smells amazing. And everybody that passes by your cart go like, oh my God, gotta have this bacon, right? The best. I don't know what good bacon is, but assuming, right? And you put that bacon in a farmer's market for vegans. How are your sales going to be? You're probably going to be more that guy than that guy, right? And the story actually came up because I'm Jewish, I don't eat bacon. My son's dad is Catholic, he eats bacon. And when my son was 5 years old, I picked him up from his dad and we're driving and he's in the back seat and he starts crying. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I am mad at God. And I'm like, mad at God? Why? And he's like, because bacon is so good and he doesn't let you eat it. And that's really what's happening with our products, right? It's so good. We're trying to give it to everybody and we don't even stop to say like, hey, do you eat bacon? So always keep in mind, make sure that you're not selling bacon to vegans. If you focus on that, just that, and your mission is to just specific problem to one specific person, you're first going to be like, is the person I'm talking to, are they vegan or are they bacon eater? If they're vegan, nothing for me to talk about my product or my bacon, regardless of how good and smelly it is. So does that resonate? Because we're going to take this analogy and we're going to continue with that of how to create the content that matters. Exactly. One specific problem, and look at B, right? One specific problem, she just helps people with their marriage. That's it. $300,000 a month, not a year, right? So when we work on this together, right, we create our avatar, our ICP, who we're talking to, making sure they're not vegan, right? And we actually put a face to her. Why? Because it's so much easier to look at this beautiful face. You look at her and you were like, oh, I want to help you, right? What's your problem? Let me help you with your problem. When we're talking to faceless, followers and email subscribers and all that stuff, it's very easy to switch from like, I want to help to like, buy my shit, right? We don't want to do that. So we're using AI to create a picture of our avatar. And here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the problems and the symptoms that they have. Remember, one specific problem, right? The myth that doesn't work, the belief in the market that don't work. An example would be drop shipping. I went to visit my family in Israel and my sister-in-law goes like, oh, there's this amazing thing, you just create a book on Canva and you put it on Amazon and then you wake up with $1 million in your bank account. She watched a 30-second video on, drop shipping books that Amazon is going to print and sell it for you. But if you actually know what goes into all of that, the marketing, the books, the covers, all the other stuff, you know, it's not just like, just create it on Canva and put it out there. So you have your insider's tips to what's happening in your market and what people are talking about that is not really the real thing, right? Talk about that in your content. Let Sarah know that, hey, drop shipping is a little bit more complicated than what this TikTok guy is trying to see. That builds trust. You're going to talk about your core values. In my world, for me, for example, give credit where credit is due is a biggie. Don't build your home on rented properties. If you know me, you know that stuff, right? So talk about the things that you believe that sets you apart from other people. And then finally, why you, your testimonials, your case studies, your reviews, your success stories, only the things that you're doing, right? So these are the things that you can talk about to start building your thought leadership in the market. Now, how do we get into Sarah's world? There are 3 levels, right? First of all, Sarah needs to know that we even exist. That's called awareness, right? She needs to know that there's a solution out there to one of her problems. We have to talk about that stuff. If you never talk about it, nobody will ever know. So for example, did you know, right, that we can work on this and dive deep into each and every step of what we're sharing here right now, and together build your client persona, their pain, their frustrations, and turn that into content in 5 days? Sarah didn't know either, right? Up until today, you had no idea. So I have to talk about this more in order for people to be aware that, hey, something like that is happening. After I talk about that and people are aware that there's this thing, then I need to move to consideration, right? You need to see me as the solution to what you're trying to achieve. Sarah needs to see you as the solution to what you're trying to achieve. So this is where your values come in. This is where testimonials come in. This is where case studies come in, right? And then lastly, decision. Help her make a decision. Don't make it so hard to give you money. There's so many people that make people jump through hoops to just give them money. Here's the PayPal. This is where you click. This is where you do it. Here's the transaction. Make it super easy to make a decision. Maybe put a guarantee, right? Like Amazon. If anything happens, you're safe. You know, the risk is minimized. So as we're working on this with AI to help us do it, here are 2 prompts that you can use right now to have AI help you bring all the problems that are happening in Sarah's mind very quickly. And it is, I help your Sarah, right? Your client with your specific solution. So one specific person, one specific problem, one specific person, one specific solution. I help describe Sarah. She's struggling with conversions with your specific solution, 5-day challenge. Generate 5 common problems that they face, 5 myths that they might believe about your industry for each stage of the buyer journey: awareness, consideration, decision. That will give you things to talk about, right? But we can take it even deeper, a little bit deeper, and kind of dive into what keeps Sarah up at night. Give me 20 commonly used phrases that people use when describing their frustration with marketing, branding, whatever it is, right? That Sarah echoes in her own head. I prefer using Claude than ChatGPT. I find that it gives better content, but look at that. I'm spinning my wheels, but not getting any traction. Everyone seems to be an expert these days. How do I stand out? Don't you feel like that when you go to LinkedIn, everybody's a CEO? I'm doing all the right things, but my conversion rates are still flat. Am I just shouting into the void? I feel like I'm always playing catch up with the latest trends. These are things that you can actually see her. Like if you look at her, be like, oh yeah, that's something that my avatar is actually struggling with, right? How do I turn my knowledge into real influence? I'm spread too thin trying to be everywhere at once. Can you, any one of you, resonate with anything that's on here? Is that like some of the thoughts that may be going through your head? Right? Why can't I crack the code on viral content? I'm investing so much time. Where's the ROI? Gotta love 13. I feel like an imposter compared to the thought leaders in my space. Yeah. It's only because they know how to fake it better. How do I bridge the gap, right, between likes and actual leads? I would not be able to sit down and write all these things on my own to know what to talk about to my ideal clients. This is where AI come in, right? So we have the list. How do we talk about it, right? By the way, B is creating this exact content for her clients, right? So when I was struggling in my marriage, I found myself starting to dream about other versions of me, a version of me who was single and thriving. Then this happened. That's the pain point that they're thinking in their mind. Oh, when I was single, I was so much better. There is a reason after leaving my husband, my husband and I decided to stay together. Ever dreaded going on a vacation with your husband because it meant being in the same room with him on days on end? That's like the buttons, right? And that's why she gets all these views right there. You will get them in a chat. Don't worry about it, and you're gonna get the recording as well, so you have it. So that's why, because she's talking about all these pain points, that's why people go like, "Oh, I want, ouch, I want the solution, right? Give me the solution." And she shows them where to do this. So my question to you is this: we know all that stuff, right? I'm not telling you something you don't know right now. And if it's so easy to do, why is B using a ghostwriter? Why is it so hard to take this list of questions, right, and just record the answers? Why is it so difficult? Because biology. And I'm not going to give you a science lecture here right now, I promise. But as humans, we have this desire, this innate need to do good and help people, right? Unless they take the last slice of pizza and then all bets are off, right? But that's why it's so much easier to help someone face to face. Like when your friend comes in and they ask you a question, it's so much easier to kind of like just be a helpful advisor on the phone, in an email, right? On a Zoom call, because you can see their faces and you know who you're talking to right there in real time, right? Like right now, I can see you. I can see, does it resonate? Does it not resonate? Is it working? Is it not working? Right? And so the challenge is like when we're trying to do this with a motionless camera, all of a sudden, we don't see anyone in front of us. We don't know who we're talking to. We can't resonate with them, right? And our friendly persona all of a sudden becoming like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, right? So we know that talking to each other is so much easier. And if you see all the big names that actually stay consistent with video, they're always talking to someone. Someone asks questions, someone interviews them, someone's behind the camera, they have a team, right? But have you ever been in a conversation where you were bored out of your mind, where the other person is like, la, 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 and you're like, oh my God, save me. Can someone call me and get me out of this? Right? Have you ever been in this situation? And the reason why is like some people just talk about themselves, or they feel like they're drilling you, or they just don't know how to tell a good story. They don't know how to connect the things together, right? And then everything is all over the place and you lose interest. And when you do that online, you lose your audience, right? So I have a framework for that. I call it the impact juice framework. The impact side of things guides you through 6 key elements of a compelling narrative. The juice side of it helps have someone else conduct a compelling interview that brings out all your stories and all your feelings. And when we did that on a challenge, we had a few people actually crying because it was so emotional for them, which is perfect for connecting and resonating and building brand and authority. So let's dive into that. How are we doing so far, guys? Is it too fast? Is it good? We're moving? Yeah? Awesome.
Perfect.
Speedy Gonzalez. Okay, so the first thing in impact, inciting incident, the spark that ignites your story. What even made the story worth telling, right? The beginning of the story. Motivation, the driving force behind your journey. Progression, the steps that you took along the way. What did you do about it? The action, decisive moves that actually made the difference. Climax, the turning point or breakthrough moment. And then the transformation, lasting change or the lesson learned. This is an arc that starts from like the beginning, this what happened, and this is what I did about it, and this is what happened at the end. When you tell stories like that, then it keeps people engaged and interested. So let's do that, right? Let's take one. The first one, I'm spinning my wheels, but I'm not getting any traction. Right? Let's see what it looks like. Picture this. 2 a.m. I'm staring at my computer screen, surrounded by empty cups, coffee cups. I've just spent the last 14 hours creating content, tweaking my website, working on my business. But here's the kicker. My bank account doesn't reflect this effort. I'm exhausted, frustrated, and wondering if I'm cut out for this entrepreneur thing after all. That night, I made a promise to myself. I was done with the endless hustle that led nowhere. I was determined to find a way to work smarter, not harder. I knew there had to be a better way to building a thriving business without burning out. So I started researching, learning, experimenting. I dove into courses on productivity, marketing, business strategy. I tested different tools and tactics. Some worked, many didn't, but with each attempt, I was learning and refining my approach. The game changer, I realized I needed to stop trying to do everything myself. I began leveraging AI tools to streamline my content creation. I focused on building genuine connections with my audience instead of chasing vanity numbers. And most importantly, I started showing up consistently, even when I didn't feel ready. Today, my business looks drastically different. I'm working fewer hours, but making a bigger impact. I've built a loyal community of clients who value what I offer. And the best part, I wake up excited to work on my business, not drained by it. Sounds like a transformation you'd love to experience? That's exactly what we're diving into in my upcoming 5-day Build Your Brand and Authority with AI challenge. In just 1 hour a day, you'll learn how to nail down your unique brand voice, create content that truly resonates with your ideal clients, leverage AI to work smarter, not harder, build genuine connection that lead to real business growth. No more spinning your wheels. It's time to gain real traction with your business. Ready to join me? Let's turn your business dreams into a reality, one step at a time. Can't wait to see you in the challenge. Here's why this works. You create a 5-second video of you doing whatever. Drinking coffee, exercising, watering the plants, going for a walk. Doesn't matter. You put Sarah's pain point on the cover, like they did. Sarah clicks to read, right? Because it's her pain point. The story is engaging, so she's reading till the end. Takes her about 15, 20 seconds to read the whole thing, all while the video loops at least 3 to 4 times. That signals the algorithm that there's interest in the video. It shows the video to more Sarahs and rinse and repeat. That's how you get the views, because the story is compelling to read all the way to the end, right? So all you have to do, think of Sarah, get a list of questions, keep the framework of the juice, of the impact juice framework, right? Tell the arc story and get it out of your head and into video. How do you do that? You can be a guest on a podcast. If the podcast talks to your ideal client, if it talks about something completely different, it's not going to get the gems out of your brain. But you can be a guest on a podcast. You can use your client calls. This is amazing. Your client calls come in with their like, I'm just shouting into the void. And you're like, no, you're not. Let me tell you how. And you're there to help them. You take that call, that's your content. And I'm going to show you how to repurpose that. This is pretty cool. You talk to ChatGPT. You have ChatGPT on phone. You tell them what you're trying to do. You have your phone recording yourself or your webcam, and you're just having a conversation with AI, having them drill a little bit deeper. Or you get a Juice trained partner, and I can give you all the questions that we're using in the Juice model if you want to, or we can do this together. You get someone to sit there and just pull the gems out of your head, right? The important part is not to get stuck in the details. The important part is just to get the content. And I just want to show you that this is possible, right? If you were anything like Marisa, she was talking about, I was creating so much content. I was uncomfortable with the whole situation. I was concerned about making errors and it's not coming out correctly. I was concerned about a lot of stuttering, what I'm doing right now, because she said it on video. After Yifat showed me that it doesn't matter, just create the content. And we're going to show you what to do with the content. It doesn't matter. You can go back and edit that. And when she had us do it, it was mind-blowing. I was amazed at what we can do. The way that using AI going to put things in a simple form to somebody to understand what it is you're trying to do, you don't have to fumble through it. The simplicity of it was the biggest thing that I took away. It was just amazing how clear and concise everything was. It said exactly what I wanted to say without interruptions. So if you're coming into a recording with a podcast, with ChatGPT, with a juice trained expert, with a challenge, whatever it is, right? And you're just telling your stories, keeping the arch in mind, you get the content out, and here's how we actually do this. The good news, you only need 4 tools. Descript, Cast Magic, Canva, and Pabler. Today we are going to focus on Cast Magic, but I want to tease a little bit that I'm going to show you with Cast Magic a hack that will allow you to write amazing copy without hiring a copywriter, okay? So when you get into Cast Magic, you need to create a space for yourself. You can choose whatever space you want. Each space comes with its own pre-made prompts, right? So if you're in a podcast, you're going to get the speaker bio because you're in a podcast, right? There's be an introduction, time steps, questions that you can share online to get people to watch the entire interview. If you're choosing YouTube, you can have prompts for YouTube, right? Like timestamps, YouTube description, email to let everybody come in and watch the YouTube. If you're using a marketing assistant, it will help you find all the things of your ideal client, right? Like your ideal avatar, what's the business proposition, how to do the things that you want to do. Each space has its own prompts, right? Connected to it, you can build as many spaces as you want for every specific thing in your business. But gotta warn you, this is very important. A lot of people forget this. AI is not a mind reader, meaning if you want to use the marketing assistant space and you are going to give it a podcast, it's not going to know what to do. It's going to give you poop in, poop out, right? You have to give it the right content for it to do all the things that you want it to do. Does that resonate? Because a lot of people go like, dude, I just put my stuff into Cast Magic and I don't get what I want. Well, what did you choose? The prompts have to align with the content that you're putting out there, right? So because of that, I prefer using the custom space because I can put all the prompts that I want in there. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So step 1, choose a space, right? Step 2, upload your content. So either your podcast or your client conversation or your juice content, right? Or your ChatGPT, upload your content. Doesn't matter how. You can import from YouTube. You can import from Zoom. Now this is new. You can connect it directly to your Zoom and all your content can come right there. And if you're like me or most people out there, you're going to upload your video and you're going to go to the AI and be like, hey, give me my stuff. And Cast Magic will be like, wait a second, let me know who's talking. You actually have to choose the speakers, right? Who's the host, who's the guest, who's the coach, who's the client. You assign those roles, and then it's going to run through the prompts. So if you're new to prompt engineering and prompting and talking to AI, this might seem overwhelming. What do I give it that it gives me the content that I want? Well, I'm going to give you one prompt to rule them all. I'm going to show you how you're going to create amazing content with just this one prompt. Okay, and this is where the hack comes in. Pick an influencer in your niche that you like their style. So if you're, for example, in the relationship space, you can choose biz content, for example. If you are in the business space, you can go Alex Hormozi stuff, right? Pick an influencer in your niche, right? Copy the post that they have, okay? And use it in Cast Magic content sample with this prompt. Identify the single most important key ID in the recording. Put whatever keyword that you are, what niche you are, business, mindset, scaling, growth, money, relationship, whatever it is, right? and write a short post following the content sample below. So it will look like this. You're going to create a sample prompt. You're going to find the key idea in the prompt area, and you're going to put the copy that you copied from your influencer into the sample content. When I do it, I went to all the people that I really, really love, and I created the same thing. See, the prompt is exactly the same. What's different is the copy sample below. So now Cast Magic is the one going to take your ideas and write it in the same style of your influencer, the person that you want to emulate. So if you wanted to get B's copywriting a thing without paying a ghostwriter, just go to your stuff, copy your thing, put it in the content sample. The cool thing is that it doesn't have to be just one time. You can do this over and over and over again and get as many variations as you want. Just click on modify, rerun the original, and now you can have the same post with different ideas all the time, right? Like 5 of them, 10 of them in the same style on different topics, specifically about the pain points of your audience. So you can create tons of content with just one conversation that you can connect to the videos, to the images, to the carousels, right? And now you just have to put it online, schedule it. You can use Publer to schedule that, and you're done. One conversation, helping one client, one specific client with one specific problem in the way that you're doing that, put that into Cast Magic, generate your entire content, connect it to videos when you don't talk on camera, right? Images when you're not doing anything, use Publer to schedule that, and you're done for the month. How do you guys like it?
Yifat, this is awesome. I love this just structure and how you think about it. I think what you were saying about getting the right content in and the right context into an AI system, that's so important. And then when you have the ability to customize what you're getting out, it really helps you. And what you just showed, you're able to really extract kind of the DNA of that content. And then whatever the output may look like, you can, use the tool of your choice to get it into that final format. But I think from just a content workflow perspective, this is kind of how the sauce gets made. And we see a lot of like big creators using these workflows where they're using AI, they're using their own context in the middle of it to come up with what they're doing. They put the polish so that way, even when they publish it, it becomes across as like highly authentic content to their audience because the audience is seeing it in the end formats, whether it's a short form reel or an image that you've done in Canva or a carousel. That's the way of expressing content, but that ideation and that workflow needs to happen somewhere. So I think you nailed it for this. This was awesome.
Thank you, guys. So here's what we covered. My promise to you was that I'm going to show you how to build your brand and authority with AI. And if we're summing it up, first thing, you need to be a real expert. Just not get away from that, right? With actual experience that you can talk about. Then the $1 million formula. If you just focus on that, seriously, by the end of the year, you can do that. Solve one specific problem to one specific person in one specific way. That thing is the hardest thing for anyone, myself included, to do because we're like, but I can also, right? And then you become a general practitioner and not a specialist. So put away all the shiny objects. What is the one problem that really hurts my clients, that they really want a solution with, that I can really help them? That's it. That's all I'm focusing on, right? Then create content that matters to that avatar. Don't sell bacon to vegans, right? So use AI to help you figure out what keeps them up at night. Use the impact juice method to bring out the golden nuggets inside of you as an engaging story. Skip the copywriter expenses. Hack the system with Cast Magic content sample feature. And consistently. This is the one thing that we most of us fail, right? Because we're like, ooh, I got like 7 stuff, and then we go do our thing. You can create over 30 pieces of content, schedule them in Publer. So you spend one day, a Monday at the beginning of the month, create all the content with Cast Magic, put it into Publer, and now the rest of the month you got there to engage with people, work with your clients, catch up on your sleep, right? And then the last thing is just be patient. Takes time to build brand and authority, right? But if you keep at it, you will build a trusted brand and authority that makes a real difference in people's lives. And your bank account is going to reflect it. So the biggest thing that I am extremely passionate about is like, how do we actually make the world better? And if your content, if your lessons, if your experience can really help people, then it will be a disservice to the world if you're not sharing it. And I think this is a really fantastic way to share what's inside of you, the real things, not regurgitated by AI, and actually make a big difference in people's lives. So if you want resources, we're diving into this in a challenge at the end of the month. And all the prompts that I shared with you, you can find that on the website. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, you're going to have the recording. You can reach out to me. I'm super happy to help. It's my passion to help people actually bring the message out. And I hope that was valuable.
Yifat, this was really valuable. I think from a personal branding point of view, I think you nailed it. Seeing this workflow was really great. I'd love to maybe we've got a little bit of time, so maybe we can open it up to the audience. If anyone has any questions, you've got Yifat here who obviously has a whole bunch of information that we've just covered. Are there any questions that we have regarding these workflows or even regarding your own personal challenges or workflows that you're looking through? Because I know on the back end, there were so many different types of content formats, but I think what we really covered is like the structure of like content and like knowing who you're creating and that and getting it right, like is so important. So we'll give you guys a little bit of time. If you have any questions or anything you want us to double click on, now would be the time to drop those questions or ideas in the comments. No, and maybe what we can do is we can even take a look at the platform live. I know you shared your screen with
Actually, I can
the
show exactly the
yeah,
what we did with Jessica. So
Getting
so
some
this is the
questions here.
conversation that I had walking Jessica through all that stuff. The first thing that you guys want to do is you want to click on speakers right here, and you want to choose the speaker. Sometimes it has more than one for some reason. I don't know why. Want to go to AI content. And here's a few really cool things. You can use that one prompt that I showed you, just one prompt, and get all the content that you want in the style that the people that you love. Or if you want some ideas, you can start with examples, right? And these prompts are really fantastic. Reason for failure, 3 tips for success, one thing I always do, A versus B, significant. There's really cool things out there. Now, keep in mind, each of these, right? Like the hard truth, there should be a hard truth in your content. You can't be talking about like, what you ate for lunch yesterday and be like, well, the hard truth is that, bacon smells good, but it's not that good for you. Whatever, right? But it's like you gotta have the good content that Cast Magic actually knows what to do with it. If you have a misconception, they have to come up with something. So you can start with the content samples, or you can have your own prompts, like we said before, and you will get really good, really good stuff. So these are the prompts that you have on the document that I shared with you of exactly the structure if you want to do that. I just went to LinkedIn and I found people that I love, and I copied their content. And I felt so bad about it, which is why I went to Jessica and I was like, listen, I took your content and I feel really bad about it. So let me show you what I did so you can do it too. And you can kind of like make money. And she actually did. And it works amazingly well. So there you go. And so here below on the bottom, I did a new one. It writes like Jessica, right? Like, hey, great news. In this recording, I discovered an amazing tool called Cast Magic that can help me scale my copywriting business efficiently. With Cast Magic, I can create content faster by converting client interviews into stories using their own voice and style, generate copy for clients whose writing style doesn't align with mine, offer personalized copywriting services using the client's unique formula, potentially increase my income stream by selling these tailored services. The tool is a game changer for my business. In this video, I show you exactly how to implement Cast Magic to streamline your content creation, blah, blah. So this is the perfect example of poop in, poop out, right? Because this is writing in Jessica's voice, not my voice, right? So this would be like me putting words in her mouth and sharing it as my content, which is not what you want to do, right? So I need to either give it different prompts, or I need to give it different content that actually aligns with what I want to share as me, not as her. That's really where the main thing of recording good content matters so much, because the AI is only as good as what you give it, right? It can't think of its own yet. I took Simon Sinek and I created quotes in his voice, right? And I can use these as tweets. I took tongue twisters. I have riddle me this that I can use for engagements and stuff, right? And you can put that as a post on Instagram and start getting comments. And then Instagram will be like, oh my God, everybody's commenting on this stuff. Let me just do it. And you don't need to have your face on camera. This can be with a short video, 5 seconds, people trying to figure it out. It can be an image with the riddle on it. It can be a carousel. You can use this amazing content to get engagement, to showcase your thought leadership without ever fumbling on camera.
Yifat, one thing that you mentioned was that was really easy for you, and I've actually done the same thing. It's like I find a content creator or a format that's performing really well on LinkedIn, and I'm like, wait, I love this, the tone they write in, I love the format, and I use it as a content sample. So could you just show us kind of like what an example of a content sample is here, and maybe what those like what that looks like in the prompt if you just like edit the prompt and we look at what's happening behind the scenes?
So this one didn't have a content sample, but here is one. So identify the single most important key. This is exactly what I gave you, right? The one prompt to rule them all, either in business, minds, branding, authority, or AI, because these are the topics that I talk about. Write a short post following the content sample below in the host voice. I wanted it in my voice, not Jessica's. He didn't do it that well. And this is the prompt, right? Being a solopreneur can be overwhelming. You're literally responsible for 100% of your business. Marketing, sales, client fulfillment, accounting. It forces a lot of people to quit too early. Good news, it doesn't have to be this way. You can run a 6-figure coaching business while working 30 hours or less. So I like how clear and concise it is. I like that it gives bullet points. I like that it starts with a pain and it ends with a solution, right? And so I put that here. This is the other cool thing about Cast Magic, guys. If you have more spaces, you can have the prompt work in different spaces as well without having to copy and paste it. And then you can just run it. And this is what happens. So you can click on modify, run it again. And you can have as many posts here where you just copy paste into a post, into an image, into anything that you want to do. You can make it more serious, more casual, longer, or you can even have custom modification, like make it funny.
And Ifat, I think what's really cool here to point out is just how you built this and how you what's essentially happening is it's taking the information in that video you recorded, it's taking the format of the content sample you gave it, and now it's drafting a net new piece of content that you can use. And that's why, like you were saying, shit in, shit out. If you provide it with good material and a good content format on the back end, you don't have to sit there for an hour drafting the content into that format. It just does it for you. You might make a couple tweaks and then you can publish. But I think that's like super spot on. Having good content to feed it and a good recipe to feed it through, you're going to have fire content on the way out.
And as you start working with it, you're going to start figuring out like, you know, your own style, your own humor, and you're going to start giving it like examples like, hey, I'll make it funny, make it humorous, use this language, right? The idea is this, like Blaine was saying, know what you're trying to achieve. It's super important. What is it that I want to be known for? I want to be a thought leader in X, right? I want to think about this thing. So once you know that, then you go like, okay, the one thing that I need to do, one problem, one avatar, one solution. That's all. So I'm going to talk about all the problems. I'm going to use AI to give you the problems. I'm going to talk to my clients. I'm going to use their problems. I'm going to see what people are talking about, what news are out there that I disagree with. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm just going to record it in their own podcast, ChatGPT, with a partner, with your clients. I'm just going to record something that communicates what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to run it through Cast Magic and I'm going to get everything.
Ifat, you know what? I think a really cool follow-up to this would be, is this something that like I've actually chatted with the team about productizing probably in the next couple months or so. But I think in the interim, if you have any like not not prompts on like the outputs, but prompts on the inputs. Like if you were to put together like a guide where it's like, here's 5 questions and someone can like look at those and just start like responding and answering and capturing that recording, then it gives them good ammo to feed.
So not this one, right? So this is something that you guys have when you go to Dare to Activate prompts.
Exactly. So not prompts in this sense, but more like prompt the person, like before the AI prompts, like what are the questions that I need to answer? That way I can like look at them and here's like I can sit down for 10 minutes and I can do a recording. And now that you've like kind of given me the nudge, hey Blaine, you should answer question one, answer question two, just kind of spit out a bunch of
Your
ideas.
juice method.
The
They
juice
don't have
method. Thank
exactly
you, Greg.
juice method. I think like that and different adaptations of the juice method just to get people talking. Because sometimes that's the hardest part. It's like if I see that and you're like, oh, tell me about it, it's really easy to do. But without that nudge to get going, people don't know what to like record or don't know the
Totally.
information to feed it.
Yeah, totally. And we do that. So shameless plug, we do that on day 4 of the challenge. We're actually sitting in breakout rooms and one person asks, one person answers, one person answer, one person asks. We do that kind of stuff. So yeah, we can talk about how to do that. Totally. But it really, really helps, right? Like if you find someone that's like, hey, both of us want to create this content and both of us are really interested in it. And I'm just going to be the one asking you questions like, but how do you feel about that? Right. And like, so when that happened, what really happened, like what was going through your head? So we have all these questions, but you just need someone to look at and talk. Because when I do it with my part, that's how I create content. And when I do it with my
Exactly.
partner, I talk and all of a sudden his face goes like, and I was like, ooh, you don't understand me. Cool. That would have sucked as content. Tell me what you don't understand. Right. And we don't have that. That's the hardest thing in content creation.
And
Yeah.
I think another thing, like you do a phenomenal job as this, like clearly like with your clients and how they're able to build the personal brands and everything. But one thing that I've even seen in working with several and just getting very familiar with the content landscape, the best people in personal brand have a content strategist who sit down with them weekly, right? And are asking them the right questions, recording those sessions, and then using AI to do it. So I think a great part about the inputs is like like you're saying, knowing the questions to ask, getting people to open up the right way, because then you're feeding the system like great information and it makes it so much easier. And that's one of the big distinguishers between people who are really good from a content strategy and a personal branding point of view and people who are like, oh, let's just start talking about random things. It's like there's a difference, right?
Totally. And if you
I
saw
wanna
Gary V, like the last video that he was sharing about his book, all he had is one guy sitting there with question, go like, so how is this book helping attention? Blah, blah, blah. And then he didn't even give feedback. It was just like a next question, and next question. And that was the whole video.
I want to make sure we touch on. So it seems, Sky, you've got some confusions here, and I'm trying my best, but like the prompt you are using, your golden prompt has to be customized per the person's actual business, and the content sample is whatever the sample is. That's a clarity. But Sky, I'm trying to, as the screenshot I put in there, you have to customize it. So what is the single most important idea of the recording? Enter your keyword, your business, your mindset. What is it you're trying to get out of this that's relevant for you in that recording that's going to be your business?
So the
Hopefully that
reason why
makes
you
sense,
want to
Scott.
do that, Sky, is because you want to tell Cast Magic what to focus on. Otherwise, it will just pick whatever it's going to pick, right? But if you say, I want the single most important idea about business, it's going to write a post about business. You can change it. I want the single most important idea about relationship. It's going to look for the relationship in the content, right? So if you know that you're talking about these 5 things, then that's what you want to focus your content on. For example, one of my clients was talking about VAs, right? And I was like, okay, so for out of the all conversation, I just want one sample about VAs and why that's important. Focus on that. And you can have the same exact point, like just duplicate the prompt as many times as you want. And you can just right here right? You can duplicate it. And so one will be business, and the other one will be AI, and the other one will be relationship, and the other one will be whatever. And now you have all these prompts exactly the same, looking for different aspects of your conversation, creating it in the exact style that you want. And then, like, let's say you have a promotion or something like that, and you just want to talk about business for the next week, come to the same prompt and then modify, rerun, 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 rerun. I have 3 here already. One is funny, one is serious, one is another thing. Copy, put that into Publer, schedule it to go out, and you have everything on point in your voice, talking about the specific thing that you wanted. Does that make sense?
I hope so,
100%.
Sky. Well,
Other questions?
there's no other. I mean, I believe we've answered them all, highlighted them all, but yeah, we're at time.
Yes. So anyway, Yifat, thank you so much. This was awesome. We're gonna repurpose this and we'll run a little cast magic on it. It'll go out in our newsletter. This was super helpful for anyone who's trying to grow their personal brand and do it really effectively with AI. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everyone for showing up and coming to hang out with us. This was really an awesome session. And yeah, Yifat, why don't you shout out your social so people can follow along, where they can connect with you? Where can we find you?
Yifat Cohen. So if you put my name, Google loves me. Google loves me for my Google Plus days, right, Oleg? So you'll find me there. Just put my name, Yifat Cohen. You'll see my face, and you can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere.
Perfect. And we'll be sending out the material. So thanks everyone for coming to hang out, and we'll see you soon.